I really thought that would work.
How? How could that ever work?
At the time I'm recording this, it has been one painfully long week since Dispatch ended, and I'm already getting withdrawal symptoms, so let's talk about it a little bit to ease the pain. 2025 has been a stacked year for games. I mean, you've got Silksong. Look, I haven't played a lot of games this year, so this is my game of the year, but that's not really saying much. My games list this year consists of Silksong, Dispatch. However, while I do fucking love this game, it has reminded me of an issue that I've always had with choice-based games like this. An issue that I think is personified specifically by Invisigal and her arc. Hold on. Before anyone says anything, I was not an Invisigal hater from day one. I tried to be nice to her. I went to the movies with her and initially tried to tell Blazer that cutting her is a bad idea. And before anyone else says anything, I was not planning on romancing her. Or anyone for that matter, because I like my Robert Robertson like I like my... me. Aero Ace. Now that we've established that I am impartial, I'll go through my choices in the last two episodes and explain how they contribute to my issue with these types of games. So, the 7th episode opens and I'm immediately sobbing, and like any self-respecting British child, I partake in a bit of underage cheeky drinking. Except Robert's American, so... And cut to the goat himself and blonde Blazer comforting me. This was kind of the point where I was like, I should have picked the dinner with Blazer. Just kidding, if I had an actual choice, it would have been between Phenomenon or Flambe. Mainly because I think shipping Robert with either of those two characters is very funny. I mean, that song Flambe sings in the bar may as well have been a confession of his undying love. I have not had this much fun shipping two straight men together that clearly don't like each other since Trump and Biden. Well, actually, that's not true. Flambe's not straight. Anyway, after today's shift, actually both kind of work for this shift, Robert stumbles upon a meeting held by the Z team where the majority vote is to kick Invisigal out. Now, as I said, I previously told Blazer that I was worried about this making things worse, and I mean, that was great foreshadowing in hindsight, honestly. But both sides had valid arguments. Flambe literally tried to kill me, and got let back in like nothing happened. Although I personally get why they'd be more willing to let that slide, as even now with how much progress these guys have made, physical abuse and threats of violence were still quite commonplace among this team at this point, so I get why they'd care less about that than what Invisigal did. Especially considering nobody actually got seriously hurt during Flambe's outburst, whereas Invisigal caused Chase to be in the hospital. Malevola, however, also brings up several good points while the choice is being dangled in front of me, so that might have somewhat affected my decision. But she is right. Even if it wasn't our choice to cut someone, we did. By not cutting Invisigal, we're now basically admitting that we're playing favourites and always have been. Because we have been up until this point. Blazer literally says in that episode,
Look, I know I'm not supposed to play favorites here, but even if she was on the bottom, I'm not sure I'd have let you cut her.
Just like at Granny's Donuts, she high-roaded and physically abused someone she didn't deem as a real hero again. She disobeyed a direct order again. She let the villain get away again. And she got someone else seriously injured again. And I mean, listen to Robert's response if you decide not to cut her.
We don't kick people when they're down. We lift them up, and I believe of her what I believe of all of you. That her heart is in the right place.
Robert, that is such utter bullshit, and you know it. I chose to cut her because I agreed that it was unfair on everyone else for me to use my position of authority to, again, basically play favourites. And that did not go over too well with Invisigal, understandably. Which brings us to the next choice I had to make. Whether or not I forgive Invisigal for ruining my life, essentially. I was not a day one hater, like I said. I also didn't think anyone would be a twist villain in this game, not Chase, not Blazer, nobody. And I had my suspicions about Beef, but we don't talk about that. So this really stung for me personally, and I did not see it coming. But I also know that she's not the same person, and has genuinely changed at this point, or so I thought. So while I didn't hate her, I did need a moment to process the information she had just given me. She then left without violating me, which I can't say about a lot of other people who played this game. Seriously, if I got this scene in my playthrough, I would have lost all respect and sympathy that I had for her at this point. Even if you lean in, Robert tries to stop her before that, and the kiss was initiated with a questionable amount of consent given. Like, even if you do like Invisigal, I'd seriously question anyone who thinks that this was an okay thing for her to do. So after that, I tell Blazer to tell the press about Invisigal going rogue, rather than Chase being Trackstar, because I feel that putting the spotlight on a man in a coma is a bit fucked up. There's not really any other big choices in this episode. I mean, Mother started mothering at this point and got me acting like Rick Grimes after T-Dog died, regretting my decisions in episode 4, but that's about it. Next is episode 8, and I absolutely crushed the final shift. Didn't even get Blonde Blazer on the roster because I was just that good. Then I see my other goat fighting Invisigal and find out that she brought the Astral Pulse here and also is still working with Shroud? Question mark? Freud leaves me alone with her, and I am just not convinced by her reasoning for not giving me the Astral Pulse. But also this is a Telltale game, so against my better judgment, I let her go and then made her put this dude's dick away. What, you think I should do it just because I'm a guy? You killed him. Grow up. So then we kick Shroud's ass as a family, and I outsmart him by giving him both Astral Pulses, at which point he immediately lost all aura, which I think is very fitting. Then as I'm about to go full Lex Luthor 1A on his ass, Invisigal comes in, after it was revealed she was a spy for Shroud the whole time, which was the final straw for me. I hated her by this point, and that's where her story ended. So, Invisigal is evil, and I have no bitches, which I guess you could say is the worst ending. Oh, and I forgave Coop, because why not? Now that I've told you about my choices and the rationale behind them, you might be wondering what my issue with choice-based games are. And well, it's the choices. Now hang on. Having a player's choices actually affect the story's structure weakens the quality of the writing. You can tell with a lot of these games that they clearly made one story and then had to make a bunch of different but slightly similar ones for the, choice aspect. And sometimes it means that the writing can become nonsensical or teach you terrible life lessons. For example, in Detroit Become Human, Connor, an android detective, can make his human partner, Hank, become more sympathetic to androids and their cause, and he'll start seeing them as people. This is, again, if you are a nice guy and show mercy to the rogue androids that you track, who were absolutely justified in their actions. However, if you are a dick and dehumanize your fellow androids, he sees you and most other androids in a negative light. He sees them as objects, so is fine with shooting you, as he doesn't see you as a living being or any kind of friend or acquaintance. You're just an object. When given the choice to shoot another android, not even a rogue one, he'll get mad at you and say he's mad at you for killing a living being and he thought you were friends. But this makes no sense and is very hypocritical if you've been a dick the whole time and he shot you because of it because he thought you were just an object. So this moment is nonsensical and weakens the overall story. The issue is slightly different in Dispatch, as my playthrough taught me terrible life lessons. Basically, if you want people to do right by you, you need to stop them suffering any consequences for their actions ever, in any way. You need to immediately forgive them, and I mean immediately forgive them for anything they did, no matter how bad, and for good measure, throw in a bit of blind loyalty. With all this in mind, I still absolutely love Dispatch and would absolutely recommend that you go and play it right now. All the episodes are out, do it! For God's sake, all of the characters, not you, are so well written throughout, and the actors breathe so much fucking life into them and make them more than just the dollar store Suicide Squad. I mean, that's no surprise when it comes to Aaron Paul, but I was actually pleasantly surprised with the other performances by YouTubers, as normally these kind of things YouTubers are...
Coming! We've been compromised!
Let it out, Corporal!
Oh, Colonel. We are so fucked.
Yeah. But they all killed it. The gameplay loop was really fun, and you know what? This might be the first game where I actually enjoyed QuickTime events and thought they were used very well. This shit was just chef's kiss. Anyway, I'm about to go do a Blonde Blazer playthrough and make myself feel better about my mistakes. Okay, that's about all I had to say.